Welcome to this great adventure of two sisters.
Absolutely not. Hey guys, welcome to the Regina Kids podcast. I am your host, Maxie.
With her lovely younger sister, Rita the Ham.
And here on the podcast, as you can see, sibling relationships can be loving and sometimes a bit
dramatic.
Affect me, please. Complicated. So, join us every week as we explore all aspects of having a sibling.
Come be our sibling.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome back, guys. We missed you. Welcome back to Regina Kids podcast. Maxie, how was your week?
It was relaxing. I'm here. I'm here now. And what about you? You didn't
Me
even
too.
introduce yourself.
I keep forgetting to do that part because we do it in the intro.
Okay, well, let the people know who you are. They may be new here.
Oh, that's right. I'm Rita. That's Maxie.
And this is the Regina Kids podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So, um, like always, we stated we're going to touch on a little bit of everything. Love, relationships, careers, life as a sibling. You don't have to be a sibling to listen to this podcast or relate to any of the subjects that we're going to discuss. You bring on the single kids who have best friends that became family and that's now your sibling. Today's topic is one that's been out there for a while. You know, I know looking at the title, you're probably wondering what that is. It's a word that Rita came up with. So I'm gonna let her dive into this thing called Poon Time, as she would like to call it, so she can further explain that. I mean, I'm sure it's something relatable to people, but it's the word for me. I don't know.
Poon. Okay, so first of all, Poon Time is honestly just another way to say sex. I just like calling it Poon Time. That's just my thing. I think the word is hilarious. It makes Maxie uncomfortable, which is always a goal of mine.
I think it just absolutely not.
But also with the title, you have Poon Time, 90 days or less. So it's more so um the question that we have, and that we want to get feedback from our extended siblings, you guys, is like, what are your thoughts on the whole you should wait 90-day rule, or preference as they like to call. I mean, for me, I would say whatever floats your boat, as long as you have understanding of exactly what it is you get into, and you and your, I mean, if you are one of those people who like, you get it how you live and with it, whoever at whatever time, what I'm saying, you're on Tinder, then just make sure that y'all get tested first. Maxie, what are
That
your thoughts on?
that just seemed like it went to two totally different spectrums, but
Not necessarily. I mean, it, like, if you like, what I mean by that, like, if whatever floats your boat, if like you out here casually dating and you know what I'm saying, you get it on with your one night stands, you doing you. Well, I don't know if you swipe left or right on Tinder, because I've never been on Tinder, only heard about it and like crazy stories that I hear, but if you do the swipe left or swipe right and you hook up with somebody, just make sure y'all know what you're getting into. Make sure that y'all both tested and you're being honest.
um, I really think it's a personal preference with people. Like,
Yeah.
um, I know people who been in relationships, they slept together on the first date, been together forever. People who waited months and months to do it, and the relationship didn't last past that. I think I'm a person of questions, so I like to ask questions. I'm really want to be really detailed with anybody that I'm, communicating with. So I think it's all about chemistry. I think it's all
Mm,
about getting to know people and, making sure that if you're in a relationship, a situationship, a ship, whatever you want to call it,
a ship.
um, you got a true understanding of what you're doing. I think a lot of people jump into stuff they really don't, they don't really know what they want. You can't jump into a situationship and then try to switch it up and wonder why it's gonna have problems because it was a situationship. So I
Yeah,
think people should
but
just
you
be.
you know what? Even in thinking about situationships, um, you have a lot of people who they have the partner that does communicate, right, and tell them like, hey, this is what I want. This is what I need. Or I'm trying to do like I'm only trying to attach to this, or I'm only trying to casually, have this experience, and we just chilling, what I'm saying, type of thing. And then you'll have another partner be like, you know what, I want this person, so I'm going to do whatever I have to do to change their mind. Like type of thing, which is like a setup for failure.
That sounds like somebody who's crazy, but my biggest thing I always say with communication is understanding. Like you can communicate with people a lot, all day, every
Hmm.
day. You just have to make sure the person that you're communicating with understands.
Right.
I mean, this whole 90-day rule, it's all a preference anyway. People do whatever they want to do. Some people think it's important to wait. Some people feel like it's not a big deal to jump right in. I know that with the way that the dating world is set up now, with online dating and stuff like that, it's a little bit rougher. I don't, me and my friends have this conversation a lot, as far as like just trying to date, and people thinking that the first date should be at your house. It's a lot of people accustomed to that, that
That's mad different.
why I can't come over your house, like what, like
So
that's
just
kind of putting it out in the air where you want to start this first date to go, but
so
I
just
don't
in that
recommend it,
realm,
but hey.
yeah, just in that realm of, what I'm saying, where they saying like, just talking about how dating is now compared to dating, what I'm saying, back then, before we had all of the different options of communication. Like a lot of people now, they text more, they don't talk on the phone like they used to. Like, how do you feel about that? Do you think that it's changed for the better, or do you think it changed for the worse? Because for me, I think it kind of changed for the worse, because people don't really socialize as much as they used to when it comes to dating. Everything is on the computer. Like, you don't meet people at the grocery store no more, type of thing. Or like everything is computer based. They jumping in inboxes, and it's a whole lot of text, and it's not a lot of like conversation.
um hmm that's an interesting thing. I think that even with people jumping in your inbox and stuff like that, you still need to communicate, like just the hello beautifuls and all that stuff that don't usually get too far in a relationship if you're not asking the right questions. So
Right.
I think even with people just rather texting than talking on the phone, it's probably gonna pose a problem later on, because you got to be open and willing to talk to your partner. I don't even know how they get to what you call Poon Time without talking. So like just talking on the phone or meeting people. So I think that's gonna be a big, with this new generation that likes to text. I think it's gonna cause a rift with them being able to communicate with people in person,
Yeah.
since a lot of people rather do it over the computer. It's probably why Catfish is still on TV.
Yo, that
Because
is my show. I love me some catfish. No lie.
I just don't understand how people still getting catfished with all the technology that's still out there, but clearly it's still going strong. So, um, whether it's in 90 days, less than 90 days, 120 days, or 180 days. I think it's all about really getting to know people and really, being honest with yourself as far as knowing what you want before you jump out here into the dating pond. I think I mentioned it on another podcast where I was saying that people need to, have some kind of standard or, don't accept something that, you don't want just because you really, really think that you want this person at this time. Sometimes if we rush into a lot of stuff based on a temporary feeling, not, something that's really tangible. Like, you just see somebody and be like, oh, I like them, and you don't even know them yet. A lot of situations happen, you be with somebody a long time and y'all done jumped into, having sex, and sex is like really high up there on the totem pole and it's great. But then when, that initial high comes down from, the honeymoon phase of the relationship, you realize like y'all don't have similar interests. Like they don't know how to talk, or it's just something that's actually more of a turn off, something that you really care about that you didn't already compromise because you moved too quick.
That's
So
so true. So true. For me, I'm friendship based first. Like I need to know that we can be friends and we can hang out and kick it and all that other stuff first before we could just, what I'm saying, go get all the way into Poon Time.
I
Cause
guess
sometimes that vibe, that original vibe is not real, like at all. I mean, I think you said it before in another another podcast we did where you was talking about people their representatives.
yeah, people you gonna put your best foot forward for a long time when you really trying to get to know somebody and you really trying to you're trying to impress them. You have to be around a person and spend time with them long enough to see who they really are. So that's a big
I agree with
thing.
that. And then even with I know a lot of people as far as their moral standpoint goes and things like that, like they say, "Oh, you shouldn't have sex with a person until you marry. You shouldn't live with a person until you marry." Even if y'all don't have sex until you married, most definitely you probably want to live with that person first because you really don't know a person until you live with them day in and day out. And I think that's why when the pandemic hit, the divorce rate went through the roof because when all the distractions are gone and you actually day in and day out living with somebody, you really see who they are.
That could be true too, but I think the whole waiting till you marry to do all of that thing is because you can't just walk away when you first get, when you sign those papers. It's not like we boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think I think people feel like if if I move in and we playing house, then that's what we gonna do. If ultimately the goal is to be married, um, there's tons of us who've been in relationships that lasted way too long 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. You've been with a person and you really wanted to be something else, but you started it off incorrectly, probably. You didn't have boundaries, you didn't state what you wanted going in. I think it happens a lot when you're younger because you just, hey, it is what it is at that time. But
Yeah.
as you get older and you want to date, you have to figure out if you're dating with a purpose. You have to figure out if, maybe I just want to casually date. Maybe I just want people to take me out on dates just to get food. I personally am not one of those people. I don't try to spend time with people I don't like. I don't do dates just for food. I know there's a lot of people that do, but I can't get with the program. But um,
they want that meal. They want that Chick-fil-A.
really, we back on the Chick-fil-A.
I'm always gonna be on some type of Chick-fil-A time.
So you dating people for Chick-fil-A?
Not at all. I'm lucky enough not to have to be in the dating pool no more.
But you would date for Chick-fil-A, is what you're saying.
Nah, I don't. No, not at all. I mean, like if it's like, no, I wouldn't even do that for a first date.
So you ever dated for food?
I graduated from that when I was, in the streets.
So
Like
you
those
you
definitely
have
oh,
dated
let's
somebody
roll.
just to get a meal.
No, it wasn't like the first date or anything. We was already like kicking and hanging out and stuff like that. And it was like, look, let me feed you. All right, let's go.
But no, that's not the question. I'm talking about like somebody you just met wants to take you out on dates. You already know you really don't like them, but because they're offering to take you dinner, then you go. Right.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you might. It depends. Depends on how I'm feeling. I can't say no. It depends on how I feel. They might catch me in good spirits. Cause I just feel like my presence is a present, like Kanye said.
Okay.
That was me, you know, in my 20s, early 30s.
That
I've
that don't
grown.
sound
I've
like
grown since then.
that just sounds like you grew up a couple years ago to the fam. This don't sound like it was that far away.
All right.
I'm just saying I think it's a preference. Hey, it might work for some people. Like I really feel like you should just get to know people. Hey, you take that time and actually get to know a person. Hey, you might get to know them quickly and get to know how they are, and y'all chemistry might be through the roof. So it might only take a couple of days or a couple of hours. All depends. I have no judgment on when you should. I think it's when you feel comfortable. Because
Right.
that's possibly gonna be the best situation when you're comfortable with somebody. You don't want to go into it and y'all all uncomfortable. That's just not gonna make for a good time.
Is all at the end of the day a preference. Preference of choice. You might have different preferences as you grow, and in different age range. Your preference from when you was 19, 20, I'm sure will not be your preference when you get into your 30s.
Hey, it might depend. Some people,
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not. You see, the thing is that in that statement, I'm not saying what your preference is gonna be. It might flip. Maybe in your 20s, you was on like, look, I'm trying to get to know the person. I'm finna invest that time, that hard work, da 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 da. And then when you get to your 30s, you like, fuck that. Um, Run the D for the night, and I thank you.
okay. With that being said, siblings, let's hear your stories. Are you a 90 days or are you a or
Hit
less
it and quit it.
person? But either way, it's no judgment.
No,
Is
just
y'all waiting? If y'all are y'all out here making people wait 120 days, like you
y'all
gotta know
saying yo.
everybody in the family. You want to meet the mama and the daddy and the sisters and brothers and all the cousins
I
first.
have a on that thing. I honestly feel like this, and I think this goes for any age. Just sweetheart, just because you meet they mama means nothing. Means absolutely nothing. But that's a conversation for another day.
No, you can't
Feel-
just walk away from that
Don't
and
feel special
explain.
just because you done met they mama or some family members. Cause you don't know last week who they done brought to met their mama or family members.
So let us know at Virginia Kids Podcast at gmail.com,
That's my
siblings. So
sip
if
note
you
for today.
that's off subject, has nothing to do with nothing.
Okay. On a serious note, but that was serious though. Um, my sib note is If you're gonna be thotting and bopping, just be protected. Protect yourself. That's my sip note of the day. Be safe
Yeah,
while you out
yeah,
here street.
we'll definitely have a show about her this starting and bopping. I don't know, like she just comes up with all kinds of stuff.
Maxie, you know exactly what thotting and bopping mean.
No, I don't. And maybe our listeners aren't, too, they're not savvy with whatever you talking about.
Do y'all know what a thought is?
But why they gotta be bopping? What is the
Because they
bopping
bopping
part?
in them streets. They bopping. They doing their thing.
Okay, was that meant to be a bad thing, or is it
I
okay to
mean, it
be
could be
thotting and
whatever
bopping? I
kind of
don't
thing
know.
you. I mean, it depends on what your moral standard is. What you there's levels to thotting and bopping.
Yeah, we'll definitely discuss Rita's thotting and bopping theory or what have you in a later show, I guess, because I don't
Tell
know.
me what you feel the definition of thotting and bopping should be. How about that?
I didn't make it up, so I don't care.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to our siblings, girl.
Oh, yeah. Y'all want to talk about thotting and bopping. Maybe y'all should, yeah, email us. Those will be the ones that Rita will answer and discuss with y'all if y'all want to learn about thotting and bopping, I guess.
They can give me their definition of what they think thotting and bopping mean.
Okay, we done went from giving it up in less than 90 days to thotting and bopping. I guess,
Listen, if you giving it up before 90 days, I mean, if you doing like a one, what they call a one off, a one night stand.
that's a one-off. You just out here giving it off
That's a
one-off.
one. Yeah, that's a one off. A one night stand, and we gonna call moving forward. One night stands are called one offs. When you do a one off, that's when you out here thotting and bopping and you doing your thing. YOLO.
That that's a whole lot to take in. But whether you holding out or giving it up quick, there's no judgment. Just be safe, be comfortable, be you. Live your life freely, however you choose to live your life.
Yep. But
Um,
just know if you young and you still a virgin, once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. That's my other sip note.
what?
It's true. Once it's gone, it's gone.
That is true, but I don't. Does that apply in this
It
topic?
has to do with 90 days or less. Yeah. It's people ain't never did it before.
I don't. Well, I don't know because I don't think that in the process of losing your virginity, you giving it a 90-day time frame. I don't
It's some people out here old as hell that's still virgins. They do exist.
I'm sure it
Like
is, but
unicorns.
I'm sure they're not putting a 90-day time frame on it. Like I guess I don't know. I'm not touching on that. That's you dotting bopping and poon time and
Guaranteed it's gonna be one of our siblings out here that got a story like that. And we gonna need to do a story time.
about like what?
That they was that they have a story in reference to, like they probably old as hell, still a virgin, and ready to risk it all and YOLO and get to thotting and bopping. They tired of waiting.
What is old as hell?
Over 30.
Really?
Yeah, they
That's
still exist. I seen them on TikTok, girl.
oh my god, TikTok. That is not the holy grail of people. You see one TikTok, and
It was like
and
two.
now it's thousands of people out here just ready to thought and bop and just give it away less than 90 days on the first go round. Huh?
Yeah, you never know. Guaranteed. People out here weird. I mean, listen, you never know.
I guess anything is possible.
I'm trying to tell you.
I don't know where you took this topic.
Hey, I told you, I say all the time, this is an adventure.
Clearly, because you took them around the world in 90 days from every scenario from back and side to side, I get.
Yeah. Now that
Um,
song is in my head. Thanks, Maxie.
you're welcome. Uh,
Now let me be like Fat Joe and just lean back and wait for my sib notes for people that done been through some things in this subject of thought and Bible.
yeah, again, if you want to reach out to Rita and become her sibling and y'all want to thought and bop world,
Why they
email
gotta
us
just be
at
my sibling? If they my sibling, they your siblings
at
too.
Regina Kids podcast at
You see, she
gmail
trying not
com.
to claim y'all. You see that? She trying not to
Um,
claim you.
please continue to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating and a review. Yeah, and live your life. Rita, what is your sib? You got another sib note? Because I don't think the first one even applied to the topic of the day.
The first one or the second one probably didn't. Um, let's see. You know what? At the end of the day, just do what you feel with logic, not with what's in your pants. That's my sip note.
And as always, we appreciate you guys for coming through today on Rita's. This is all on her today. I don't have anything to say on her newly found Poon Time 90 Days or Less adventure, the Thought and Bop. Thank you again, guys, for joining us on the Regina Kids podcast.
Bye, guys.
And as always, continue to glow through whatever it is you're going through.
Even if it's with baby oil.
Oh my God.